volunteer because it's going to give you an unfair leg up.
That's bad.
Yeah, you know, so,
Thank you for bringing that up.
yeah, no worries.
I need
There, yes.
So another person that we worked with is Doug Perry.
Study.
He was a finalist for the city manager position.
You have to
Interviewed him.
decisions, you're gonna have to.
When we hired Shell,
You see that happen.
he was the part-time city manager and, I mean, of course, or something like that. I was looking for a full.
Yeah, because now,
Let it have
now you're deciding on. Get the background.
It's a conflict.
And narrow it down from like 4 or 5.
He probably would be very happy.
I don't think so. Get that right.
And then.
I think because you
I don't know where he's at before, but I just know where.
So, and then. Be like, okay, you know what? On this list.
That's what he's doing.
You can just listen to the order and then email the MME and say, okay, here's our top choice. And we, you know, like by way of example, if you picked Greg, they're like, hey, Greg's our number one choice because he basically did our comprehensive plan. And then. But anyway, that's what
City manager's question.
And you're picking these Saturdays.
Well, I mean, I get that too. It's almost easy, but,
You did.
how do you work out?
It's not-
The, like the contractual stuff?
So. Here's what you would do, you would say like, hey, we want to work with, and just by way of, not say, it's intimidating, that's all. We want to offer corporate. Contingent on, mutually agreed. You know, so that way, you know, he can.
Right, folks, it is 7 o'clock. I will go ahead and call. We can start with a moment of silence, please. If we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just as a reminder, if you happen to have your cell phone with you, please make sure it's off or on silent. City Clerk Domingo, if you'll take roll call for us, please.
Councilmember Williams.
Right.
Reed.
Yes.
Jackson.
Here.
Waller.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
French.
Here.
And Mayor Snyder.
Here. Do I have a motion to approve of the agenda?
So moved.
Support. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? To begin our evening, we have a presentation from our EDC.
Evening. Thank you, Mayor. I just have a brief presentation. Every 6 months, we try to come in front of council. It's mandated that we give you a update on the tax increment finance authority. And of course, I always like to come and give an update anyway. So we're the Tifa itself. And, and, I also wanted to I just had a one-page document, so I wouldn't be here too long. I didn't want to take up a lot of time, but the Albion East Industrial Park, we continue to move forward on land accumulation and being able to bring in developers and look at potential growth there. It's on the east side of Albion, the other side of Clark Street. So I'm looking at all kinds of growth that could happen there. We have a joint planning commission will be forming, and so there'll be more information about that in the future. Pine Street and Watson Street housing, our goal is to put 45 homes between Pine Street, 9 on Pine Street and 36 on Watson. And we are working with MISTA, applying for a $2 million grant that will allow us to bring the sale of those homes down, very similar to the Jackson 100 program in Jackson. And we will be able to sell 30 of those homes at a reduced cost, and then 15 of those homes would be at a market rate. And it would be eligible for certain income levels. So we would be able to have the best of both worlds, and it would be the neighborhood would be mixed. So it wouldn't be just one or the other, but a great way to continue to build out Albion. So 9 houses on Pine Street, which is behind the dog park, behind the junior high. Or my junior high anyway, and then 36 homes up and down Watson Street. So really excited that those will be single family homes, and we would love to see, people that want to stay in Albion be able to live there. Tonight, we have a short presentation in a little bit that we would be looking for your approval of the IFTs, which are new TIFAs that would be for Colson Industries. And they are relocating from the Clark Street location over into the current West Industrial Park at 1101 Industrial Boulevard. And there are 2 different IFTs you'll be asked to vote on, and I would appreciate any questions or anything I can do to help. There's one that would rehabilitate the current facility, and there's one that would help to build a new facility, and they're increasing the jobs. They currently have 60 to 65 people working at the current location. They'll be increasing by about 40. So this is exactly what I hope that you would want us to be doing. So we're very excited to be able to bring to you, a strong mixture of housing increases, industrial increases, and also grants that we are working on to maintain and preserve our current housing. So with MISTA, we have $2 million worth of grants we're executing. $500,000 of that is your chill grant that we've been honored to be able to execute. And of that $2 million, we have been able to allocate almost $900,000 of that. So we know where it's going to go, and we're right on target with our deadlines. So we're continuing to move forward. Some people have had some of the repairs done. Some people are still waiting because we can only do so many at a time, but we are nowhere near out of money. So we're very excited that we're able to serve a lot of people. So for example, the My Neighborhood dollars that we have, 400,000, we're limiting that investment in each home to $10,000. Which means we really can get a lot of money, a nice little repair into a lot of homes. And so that will really help our people that are trying to stay in their homes. So working to preserve housing through some of these initiatives, working to create new housing. We're really pretty excited about all the work that you all have allowed us to do. And we just very much appreciate your support. And if there's ever anything that we can do, if you just let us know. We're building staff, so you might not get me when you first answer the call, but you can always get to me either way. So I don't want to take up too much time. That's kind of a high level summary, but if anybody has any questions, there's some nice graphs, I think, in your package that demonstrate how the housing grants are being allocated and utilized.
Councilwoman Lawler?
Thank you so much. One of my constituents noticed that there was housing on Fifth Street, which is a good thing and wonderful thing. He looked up online to see how much those houses were, and he said they were like, and correct me if he is wrong, $220,000. are they affordable? And if they are affordable housing, how is that calculated with Albion, not on, just having 7,500 people?
Yep, so the Fitch Street house is the house that the city's building, I believe. On a piece of property picked up from the land bank.
Mhm.
I think I have the right property, and I do believe it's probably priced at a market rate. I don't believe the intention of that was to be what we call affordable. So I think you're probably right, and that is a market rate house, and that is why when we look to bring new housing in, we try to do a split of some that is affordable by means of some sort of grant that brings down the building cost, and some that we get. So we're trying to attract a wide variety of people, and we also want to make sure that we're housing the people that we already have living here that have not been able to buy a home. So trying really hard to bring a big mix in.
Thank you so much.
Councilman Williams, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
The house that's closest to Michigan Avenue is being done by the land bank, and then the one that's next door to the north of that is being done by the city.
Okay, I didn't have that right.
But
Sorry.
the city one is a one-story, I believe, which I believe its market rate is around $180,000. So.
No,
So we voted on.
but back to the original question that you had, it wasn't intended to be affordable. That's why it's priced at the, the higher price point. That was the Michigan mod home that, we've
We agreed
been
on.
waiting on going well, one of those properties would be the Michigan mod, and then the other one is the land bank's property.
Through the same process though.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for the information. Appreciate it.
So Virgie, can you let council know about the grant that you're working on? And because you want a letter of support, so that they know that when
Is that the $2 million My Neighborhood grant?
Yep.
So that is the grant that we would be building the 30 houses. So we would have 45 homes between 9 on Pine Street and 36 on Watson. And it's a $2 million grant because Norfolk would put in a $2 million match. So since they're spending well over 2 million on the property, this grant would come in and sit next to that, and it would help bring their costs down. And so 30 of the homes, it would reduce the cost by almost $60,000. So you can imagine if it's $185,000 market rate house minus 60, suddenly it's 120. And that is something that a workforce or, a dual income family, or even a single income family with the right income status would be able to purchase. So 30 of those homes would be, I'm gonna say somewhere between 120 and 130. And then 15 of those homes will be at the 185, 190, whatever the top number is. So that's the My Neighborhood grant that it's the second round of My Neighborhood money. The first round, we were awarded 400 and we're using it to repair homes. This time we're asking for this larger amount, and you have to have a match to get over 400. So that's why we're able to ask for the 2 million.
I saw Councilwoman Reed's hand up.
Watson is between Eden Street and Maple Street, where the school is.
Yes,
There's room for 36 houses.
there is on both sides of the road. And it's quite a long block.
It
That vacant block.
That vacant lot. And the
vacant lot
phosphorus
is by-
on the high school.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there's vacant property next to the high school.
You did.
Yeah, so from
the
to Maple Street on the south side, and then from the east driveway of the high school all the way down to Maple Street on the north side.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is all being done in conjunction with Marshall Public Schools.
So again, they're looking for a letter of support from you.
Sweet.
Perfect.
Mayor Pro Tem Jackson.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
God, that was up with her.
Okay.
The Watson Street houses, are they set aside for high school or school system staff? Or will
We
it be
wouldn't be able
open
to
the
do that. So the EDC will take ownership
Okay,
of the property and then work with the developer to have the housing built. But no, we wouldn't, it's not like we're building housing for a particular employer. So it's not employer driven. It's just that it would be located quite nicely near the Opportunity High School. So we would hope that we would attract somebody there.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
And Mayor Pro Tem Jackson.
Yeah, so that kind of was the question, but I know that at one time your suggestion was to make sure that we had homes here by time Blue Oval it got started, so that we would start attracting
Yes. and we're-
families here.
Yeah, so this
Even
grant,
workers.
if we're awarded, would allow Norfolk to complete 2 homes a month. And we would, as soon as we can get it kicked off, and we see with these other grants, it takes a while to get everything kicked off, but as soon as we get it started, takes them about 4 months to ramp up, and then after that, it'd be 2 homes a month, and we would be in line to create housing for that.
Wonderful.
Councilwoman Davis.
Yes, I noticed that the Maple Street home that is being built is not on your list. Is this separate?
Yep, that's a private developer. His name is Robert, and he has come to town. Robert, if you're listening, I forgot your last name, so sorry. So very nice person. He and his fiance have decided to invest in Albion, and they're doing it sort of one house at a time. He also serves on the Norfolk team, so he does certain parts of building for Norfolk. And he's also a licensed contractor and a lead allowable contractor. So he has now made himself available to us as contractors for our grant program. So great partner, but yes, I think it's a duplex he's putting out.
Yes.
And he's very excited about that. And again, like, I think what you're going to see is some naturally occurring people want to invest, and there's a lot, and they were able to, and he worked very closely with the land bank to get that. So it kind of, I think we're breaking down barriers to be able to get lots from the land bank and begin to grow. So I'm very excited. Thank you, Robert.
And-
Sorry, I forgot your name.
And in addition to the house on Maple Street, he's also in the process of doing one on Hoagland in a vacant lot that's there that I approved as my other role, planning director.
Okay.
What about Caldwell area?
So-
Caldwell School area.
So that is on our development strategy plan. Don't think I can say much more. I don't have anybody under contract, so, but it is on the plan.
All
Yeah.
right, thank you.
Councilman Williams.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Back to the grant, was that the MI Chill grant that was?
So we have 3 grants we're executing right now.
Right.
One of them is your chill grant. One is the My Hope and one is My Neighborhood.
Yeah,
And then the new grant we are applying for is the second round of My Neighborhood,
right.
but we would use it to build homes rather than repair homes.
Now, is that the 10,000 that we're talking about here?
So,
Which one is that?
yep, so My Neighborhood, we are limiting to 10,000.
Okay,
And if someone comes in and we have 9 applications for My Neighborhood. I think I've seen 2 more come in.
okay,
But we really need more applicants because we're limiting that 400,000 to 10,000 apiece. Obviously, we need about 41 applicants, so, and we need more applicants for that.
and you're accepting applications?
Yes, and it's a paper application, it's online, but it also, you can pick it up in the office.
Do you have a flyer?
I do not have a flyer, sorry,
No problem, thank you.
but yeah, I can get one.
Any other questions for Ms. Ammerman?
All good news, I hope, so,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, next is our proclamation for our sister city relationship. So on October 12th, residents who have been involved with the sister city program, whether directly, indirectly, been a support, were invited to come to City Hall on Saturday, October 12th, to watch a live stream presentation of this proclamation that our sister city contingents that were in France did in person, but then we live streamed so that we could watch as well. We are very fortunate that we had Chief Kip here that day because like many other times, we had internet glitches and we were desperate to get connected and he was able to figure out a workaround. So I don't know who's going to be our technical support when you leave because we need to get that in order as well. But we were, like I said, we were able to listen to them live stream this proclamation from France, and I will go ahead and read this. Whereas in 1994, Sue Marcos, president of the Greater Chamber of Commerce, began the preliminary discussions about creating a sister city program with Noisy-le-Roi. And whereas in September of 2000, the mayor of Noisy-le-Roi, Michael Collin, and a delegation from the Noisy Sister City Committee made an official visit to Albion. In June 2002, a delegation from Albion, led by Mayor William Wheaton, traveled to Noisy-le-Roi for an official ceremony. This relationship was thus expanded in 2010 to also include Bailly, France. Now, whereas most recently, the city of Noisy-le-Roi and the city of Bailly welcomed Albion youth travelers in June of 2024. And shortly before the departure of this group, student Ann Wade experienced a medical emergency. Whereas the staff of the college, which is the school, responded swiftly to the emergency, and the members of the committee immediately advocated for the patient and her family. And whereas upon arrival, Ben and Jenny Wade were welcomed into the home of Ann's host family and embraced by both communities at large. And whereas the City Hall of Noisy-le-Roi and Bailly and concerned members of both communities offered lodging, household goods, food, and daily support to ensure the family's well-being. And whereas the City Hall of Noisy-le-Roi and the CJNRB arranged for transportation and offered translations at medical appointments and facilitated other treatments for Anne until she was healthy enough to return home. And whereas the city of Albion is eternally grateful for the generosity and support offered by our sister cities during the time of need of one of our very own. We are reminded of the incredible sense of community and compassion that exists due to this long-standing relationship. Now therefore be it proclaimed that today, Saturday, October 12th, I, Victoria Garcia Snyder, Mayor of Albion, do celebrate with our Sister City Committee on this special occasion to commemorate Albion soldier, Patrick Leo Hanlon. So this was also in dedication for Leo Hanlon, who was an Albion resident and who had served in the war. All right, next is our proclamation for our red ribbon. So folks want to come forward. You have to come on up to the podium. Yep, come on up and
Right on.
right on it.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
The system, nice.
Come on over.
Come on out, right on the side, those who aren't.
Come on, Chris. Want to make sure we get all the students up front.
Mark, what are you so short?
She can stand in front.
So I'll go ahead and read the proclamation honoring 2024 Red Ribbon Week. Whereas Red Ribbon Week is an alcohol, tobacco, smoking, and other drug and violence prevention awareness campaign that will be observed October 23rd through the 31st, 2024. It is the nation's largest and longest running drug awareness and prevention program. Whereas Red Ribbon serves as a catalyst to mobilize communities to educate youth and encourage participation in drug prevention activities. And whereas we celebrate Red Ribbon Week to honor the sacrifices of those brave souls like Kiki Camarena, a special agent who was assigned to Guadalajara, Mexico office and was instrumental in helping to solve the drug pipeline of the most notorious drug traffickers. Upon his death on February 7th, 1985, Congressman Duncan Hunter organized Red Ribbon Week. People, especially children, wore red ribbons and pledged to live a drug-free life. Nancy Reagan brought national attention to the program, and it is celebrated throughout the country. Whereas a pledge for children, I pledge to stay in school and learn the things that I need to know. I pledge to make the world a better place for kids like me to grow. I pledge to keep my dreams alive and be all that I can be. I pledge to help others and to keep myself drug-free. And whereas a parent's pledge, we will talk with our children about the dangers of drug abuse. We will set clear rules for our children about not using drugs. We will set a good example for our children about not using illegal drugs or misusing prescription drugs. We will monitor our children's behavior and enforce appropriate consequences so that our rules are respected. We will encourage family and friends to follow the same guidelines to keep their children safe from drug abuse. I pledge to set guidelines to help children grow up safe, healthy, and drug-free. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Victoria Garcia Snyder, Mayor, on behalf of the Albion City Council, do proclaim October 23rd to the 31st as Red Ribbon Week and urge all of Albion citizens to make a commitment to live a drug-free life. Now, who would like to take this time for you? No. We should get it.
Not smile.
Smile.
Those boys aren't smiling.
All right.
Well, guys, yeah. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
We will also be doing another proclamation presentation to the county commissioners at their next meeting. So.
Excellent.
That's good.
Thank you.
Any other comment?
Does anyone want to come back?
Great class.
Yeah. Someone from the middle school wanna come?
So we've been working with these young people from Substance Abuse Prevention Services to recognize Red Ribbon Week. These young people are getting trained to be mentors to elementary students at Harrington Elementary. And so between the middle school, March Opportunity High School, we are working as a team to celebrate Red Ribbon Week. And so this is Ms. Gill, and she'll explain some of the activities that we'll be doing.
So at the middle school, we buy a 6-foot banner, 6 by 6 foot, and at lunchtime, I go to every single lunch. I don't make anybody lie to me or anything like that. I want them to pledge going forward that they want to be more educated and at least learn more about the cause, the effects, what's going on, and at least pledge to be educated and go forward to try to be drug-free. Every student signs it with a different color marker. It's huge. And then last year, it became such a big thing that even the teachers signed it. So even the teachers got in on it. We got a signature from almost every person in the building last year. We'll also be selling red ribbons at lunch. And with each red ribbon, ask each child what they know about drug prevention. And if they can give me a good answer, it'd be so. I don't want them to pay, so I hope nobody pays me and everybody gets a ribbon. And then they have a lot of activities going on at the Opportunity High School.
My name's Tanaylan Jordan, and I'm proud to be in this. Sorry, I'm proud to be here, and it's a good.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
We've been meeting at the high school, Marshall Opportunity High School. And we're just now like planning and getting everything ready and all that, and like having some fun stuff and, you know.
It's good.
All right.
I'm happy to be in the.
We're trying to get them ready to be on the spot and be able to, so that's part of our training. So thank you guys so much for appreciating these young people and these adults, and they're really growing to be great leaders. So we'll hear more from them.
And thank you all for working with them.
Yeah.
All right. Next, we have a public hearing for the industrial facilities tax exemption for the planned rehabilitation district for the medical group. I will go ahead and open up public hearing at 7:29 p.m. If there's anybody within the gallery that would like to stand and address council in regards to this item, please come forward, give us your name and address, and 3 minutes is yours. Seeing no movement, I will go ahead and close the public hearing at 7:29. I don't know the seconds about this. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2024-38?
So moved.
Support. Attorney Harkness.
So this is just to approve the plant rehabilitation tax exemption certificate for Colson Group. Council approved the rehab district for Colson earlier this year. They did an application. The city's assessor has certified that this meets the statutory criteria. And so this is the actual exemption certificate. It applies to the real property that's being rehabilitated. The only thing I'll add is that the statute allows for an application fee. The city doesn't currently have one in place for these because this is so new. So in the future, I recommend that council add that to the schedule of fees, but since it's not currently in place, I don't think it should be something that holds up the approval of the exemption certificate. So happy to answer any questions. As I indicated during the study session, I'm serious, yeah, the study session, it's a 12-year exemption.
Any questions for Attorney Harkness? Councilwoman Lloyd?
Thank you so much. It's not a question, just a comment. To see when we're out negotiating about tax exempt, things like that, see if we can offer a shared tax exempt. Might not be called that, but I know what a shared tax thing is, but I think it would do the city good sometimes to advertise about the shared tax exemption. So I'm just throwing that out there sometimes, something that we should think about sometimes. The shared tax. Like they give us the shared tax, they give us so much, not that much, but they give us something. I would just like to see us get something sometimes. I've been on council for a long time and I've been seeing tax break, tax break, tax break. But one person did offer us shared tax and I thought it was a beautiful thing.
Councilman Williams?
Yeah, if I could just provide a little bit more feedback to that. I do understand what your concern is, Councilman Waller, in saying that because when we think about taxes, we think of revenue and what it means to the city as far as income goes. I believe in this scenario, well, let me say it like this. My job was saved earlier this year because of a tax exemption. That along with the jobs of over 150 other people, because the city of Battle Creek decided, along with the state, work to get a tax exemption which would help to save and maintain our jobs. Now, I'm not sure how much, but this was also contingent on investment into the community, right? Now, it was a 15-year tax abatement. This one here is a 12-year tax abatement, which means that they will be paying taxes at a higher rate at the end of that. And not to say that they're exempt from paying any tax at all during this current time frame. It just means that they won't have an increased tax rate on the increased value of that property. But with the increase in jobs, those jobs will be taxed and those people will be paying taxes. If they live in the community, it will be a 1% tax. If they live outside of the community, they'll be paying a 0.5% tax. So this is a tool that's used to drive business and to bring investment to an area. Our city of Albion is one that needs investment. And if we can forego increased taxes at this point so that we can drive that reinvestment into our community, I believe it's something that we should do. And I'm not saying that that's something that you're opposed to, but I just figured I'd be able to bring a more real world contextual experience to what this and other tax abatements like this actually means for our community.
Any other questions for Attorney Harkness? Pretty quick, Migo.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Now I'll go ahead and open up a second public hearing for the tax exemptions for the industrial development district of Folsom. Open up at 7:34 PM. If there's anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council in regards to this item, you may do so at this time. Seeing no movement, I will go ahead and close our public hearing at 7:35 PM. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2024-39?
So moved.
Attorney Harkness.
So this is very, very similar to the one you just did, except instead of this being a rehabilitation district, it's a development district. So this applies to the new facility for Colson. Again, the assessors certified that it meets the statutory criteria. Again, in the future, I think the city should address not having an application fee, but for purposes of this certificate, I don't think that should be a holdup. It's a 12-year duration, applies to the real property. Approval is recommended.
Questions for Attorney Harkness?
Councilmember Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Public comments. If there's anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council in regards to a specific agenda item, you may do so at this time. Give us your name and address, and 3 minutes is yours.
Thank you. I'd just like to say on behalf of Wilson Group, thank you very much. I'm the plant manager, Cal DeVries. We really are impressed with Albion. Rich Cabor, the CEO, and Ray Poole have been here many times and looked at the people that we have working for us. And a lot of those people are very local to this area, very committed. And the job structure that we're looking at bringing, approximately 40 jobs, about 30 of those will be skilled trades. We're already working with Scott Carberly over at the tech center. We've hired 3 people out of there already. And I'd just like to say thank you very much for approving those tax abatements for us.
Wonderful.
Anybody else would like to stand and address council? It's being none. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Support.
City Clerk, can we go?
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes, we will adjourn for closed session, 7:37 PM. Session 8:05 PM. City Clerk Domingo, if you take roll call for us, please.
Councilmember Jackson,
Here.
Lawler,
Here.
Davis,
Here.
Burns,
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Reed. Here. And Mayor Snyder.
Here. Right, in your packet, we have the consent calendar items, which are the October 7th study session and the October 7th regular session. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Support. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Do I have a motion to approve awarding the contract for the train depot renovations to the construction group management?
So moved.
Support.
So this is for the renovation of the exterior of the train station. Whiteman and Associates have been working on this with us. The bid came in at $2,286,527. We have a $300,000 gift that was made from the Cram family to the city of Albion that will pay for this. That is currently being held by the Community Foundation. So.
Any questions or comments?
Glad to see this is going to happen. It's a very good thing for our community.
Yeah, and as I stated earlier, I do believe Amtrak is planning some renovations for the train depot as well. So hopefully there'll be even more than just this.
Those projects will be more for accessibility. So they're willing to put money in as well. All right, any other questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Lawler.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve of the applications for Nancy Doyle for the Arts Commission, Richard Lewin, reappointment for the Board of Review, and Tom Pitt, reappointment for the Planning Commission?
So moved.
Support. You have your applications in the packet. Any questions or comments before we vote? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Davis. Yes. French.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Reed. Yes. Jackson.
Yes.
Lawler.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. I would like to make a motion to approve moving forward with one of the listed members who could be potential interim city managers working with Michigan municipal executives.
Support.
In your, or on your desktop, we have a list of possibilities. In our study session, Attorney Hartnett commented that not all of these individuals may be available to work with us as the interim, just based on where they're located. But I think it would behoove us to move forward, like I said before, because timing is critical to get this approved before Chief Kip leaves. I want to move forward with this to get the ball rolling so that we can have some candidates come before us, or at least have their resume for us, so that we can decide or give an education decision before we decide. Questions or comments? City Clerk Domingo?
Who are you selecting?
Well, I guess we
So my suggestion,
ask for like Greg, since like I said, that would have been my preference because he's worked with us before.
so my suggestion would be you select like 4 or 5 names and ask for the info on like 4 or 5 people. And then when you have your meeting between now and your next meeting, you can basically go to MME and say, here's our first choice, second choice, third, fourth, and fifth, because that way you have backups in case someone's not available or unwilling or geographically out of the area.
Well, I guess I can only assume that Greg and Jay are related, since that's a very unique last name.
Can MML kind of suggest, maybe ask them, which of them would like to really be involved? And then get maybe 5 names.
Councilman Williams?
Being that we have a list of names here, much to Mrs. Reed's point, I think asking those members, because there are a lot of those members who aren't in our area, but asking which ones would be,
Willing.
willing to apply for that role. So we see if there's a pool of 8 of them or a pool of 6 of them, then we go through those applications to see who meets the qualifications that we want to see here in our local community, as opposed to us potentially counting out people that we don't necessarily know. You know, I would imagine that alone geographically will weed out a lot of those candidates.
Councilman French.
So we know that Doug Terry is near. He was actually a finalist for a city council position more than a decade ago. He was a part-time city manager, I think, in either Homer or Teconcha, and was applying for our position full-time. He's still around. Greg, obviously, we've talked about. The concern I have is that if we're trying to do this quickly, we know that Greg is experienced. We've worked with him multiple times before under lots of different mayors and city councils. And so if he's available, that's the first thing. We vote to see if he'll come. And we can have him come and speak to us at this special meeting we're having if he's available. Or at least send the resume, let us know. If in that first, we can task our city attorney or our city manager in his coming days to sort of reach out to Greg. If he's available, we move forward. If he's not, then we can ask the organization who of this list is in the region that we could approach. And so instead of waiting for one thing and then getting 8 applications and then spending, in my opinion, an inordinate amount of time hiring someone that we're going to have for 3 months, rather than picking someone that we know is experienced, it just sort of slows the process down. So if we can reach out to Greg, if he's available, we move forward. If he's not available, then we slow the process down, ask for a bunch of resumes, have the special meeting, you know, and then we'll have someone appointed by the end of November.
Mayor Pro Tem Jackson.
Yes, I hear you when you're speaking, Councilman French. But I still like the idea of Attorney Harkness of picking out at least 4 individuals and then going forwards, you know, to meet our needs. I know we are in a rush, don't want to see you leave, you know, especially as this. But I do believe we need to put more on the table for whoever we bring in, because we have a lot going on. And we need to make sure that they're capable of doing or even want to do all that is going on here in Albion. So, yes.
So like I said, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Long.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I wanna make a motion to ask MME to submit maybe 6 resumes to us, and that we are able then to choose.
It's a motion. It's
already one of them.
something.
Oh, did you? Okay.
For the one individual.
Oh,
So, well, we can definitely look at a couple of
She
names.
can amend it.
So like we could, like we said, get a hold of Greg, get a hold of Jay, get a hold of Doug.
Jay. Turn,
oh, yeah.
Mayor, Madam
What was that?
Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I was just looking at Gutschau's website, and I'm assuming this is his brother because they're on the same page. They're president and vice president of the same company, and Jay has, it says 32 years in public service, was has held appointed and elective offices, has a master's in public admin, was a village manager, was an assistant city manager. So it seems like he's a qualified candidate, just like Greg, just so you have that information.
So maybe if we use those 2 as one of the 2 of the 4. If that's
But
what
maybe we
need.
can just to have backup like Doug and then maybe Susan Montenegro.
Say it again, Mayor.
Maybe like Doug, because we said Doug's local.
So we got 3, ask me my mail.
No, he said Susan. She said something about Susan. Do you know Susan, or is that just a name?
I would like to see a woman's.
Okay, well, number 1, you can't say that.
I know, that's why I'm like.
And
Okay.
I'm in a precarious situation here because there's information
about that,
That we
That's
should.
what, that's what right, I'm saying, I caught on very quick.
Then we'll
I caught on
scratch,
very quick.
then we'll scratch that.
So to
We do
to
Good point.
avoid us putting ourselves in a sticky situation. And with consideration to the overall number that we could possibly get as potential candidates. I did look through a lot of these candidates earlier, and a bulk of them are Northern Michigan residents, and I'm assuming that they wouldn't want to come to Albion for the short-term employment. The suggestion was for 6, the suggestion was for 4. I don't necessarily think that we should probably just weed through these names, guessing who's gonna be who and seeing who's available. I would imagine availability would determine on if they would even apply for this role. So that's why my original suggestion was we probably should just put it out there for application so that we could see who would be even available. Now, I know within a 100-mile radius, there was at least 5 of these individuals on here. Now, out of that 5, you still have to consider who's going to be willing to drive to Albion at some sort of frequency to get us on track with the, with inclement weather coming up in the, further season. So I'd suggest we still put it out to all of them on here and see who comes back. And then from there, we already know that we have a relationship with Greg, and with consideration, he may be one of the better candidates, but we'll have to see as opposed to any of the other candidates.
So you're saying make outreach to all of them.
We'll
and
just
see
reach,
who-
yeah, and we'll see how the cards fall.
Attorney Hartness?
So I get what Councilman Williams is saying, but I think council might be confused about how this list works. It's everybody on this list is somebody who's been a manager for, a decade or more. So these are like people that have said, I'm willing to step in and be manager. They're not going to audition for the city. They're not going to apply for the job. If you want to contract with someone, I'm sure any one of them will give you their credentials so that you can see what their experience is, but they're not going to come and apply for the job like it's the normal city manager job. So I just want you guys to be aware of that, because these are contractors where it's generally the way that this works is we contact the MME and say, we need a manager. Now, we can request a specific one, but if we don't, they'll be like, here's a manager that's,
Willing to come.
that will come and do it. Here's what their rate is. And time is of the essence, so you can't really go through a normal search process. I completely understand wanting to know what somebody's credentials and backgrounds are, but they're not gonna come and apply for this job. I guarantee you
I still
that.
say.
Right. Now, with that being considered, okay, let's not say application. We still have to have a study session following this meeting at some point. The candidates that we discussed, we still have to receive their credentials, right?
Yeah, so like I said, we can email them and me and say, hey, here's 5 people we're interested in seeing the credentials for. Can we get their resumes or whatever? And I'm sure they'll send them to us.
Great.
Mhm.
So,
who makes the outreach? Colin, do you do it?
I'll do it. I'll volunteer to do it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's put it to a vote. Are we good with that? For Colin to.
Then yours first, please.
I would make a motion to modify the existing motion
Thank you.
to invite Cullen to seek out MME with our needs to provide us with the credentials of up to 4 candidates that would be interested in working as our interim city manager.
Support.
Yes,
Yes. All
thank you.
right.
Yes. That's a medium right there. So, yeah.
Councilor on the front.
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yeah.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the mastic materials purchase for the mastic patch?
So moved.
Support.
Support.
Too long.
After.
We just spent all this money on a master patcher.
I know.
Good evening, council. This is the material we need for the new patcher that's supposed to show up either this week or next week. We can't do anything without it, so the cheapest way to go is to buy a semi-trailer full instead of just one pallet, right? So if there's 18 pallets. So whether we're paying for one pallet or 18, shipping is still $950. So it's like, and the more we buy, the cheaper it is in the long run. So I figured,
Yeah.
let's just go for it, because
I guess you-
I want to see us out there using it. So why
We're
not?
gonna need it all.
We're gonna need it all.
road alone.
You guys dump it out there, right?
What?
You guys dump it out there, right?
Yes,
And then you just get as you need it.
yep, it all stays right there at the street department.
All right.
And then next year, we're budgeting for 3 semi-trailer loads. I just gave that to Finance Director Clark, so we'll be purchasing that throughout the year.
Fantastic.
Got your sand there too? I'm sorry. Yeah, that whole process.
So how much territory, or how many streets do you think you can catch?
With one trailer.
Shall we give you a list?
They have the list.
I wouldn't do it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it.
I don't know. I honestly don't know, because we're just now gonna start using it. And so we went through one pallet for all the stuff that we did, our demo, doing a demo of it. So
You don't have a hierarchy?
Of course he does.
I know that we're like, we've been watching what MDOT's been doing with theirs. Actually, they've been renting it from the same company we bought it. And so it just depends. Some of our roads are so bad.
Mhm.
Well, go down Northern.
Cause he might use it a little bit more because. He has to have that.
I tried going down.
Get it to Wayne. What you were saying, you gotta go back.
So I actually was over in Councilman Davis's neighborhood. And part of that road coming off of Maple was,
Watson,
No.
Huntington.
Huntington, yes.
Yeah.
We did that because it was so bad.
exactly, so do we have
Stewart's worse than that.
other locations that you are considering doing it? Cause there's, like we were saying, there's really rough.
Don't.
Yeah.
Say it. Don't say it. You're gonna be in trouble.
We get ourselves in trouble this week, okay.
Don't say that.
I'm gonna say this for the 4th year in a row. The city of Albion has worn out my street. And right behind my driveway, I have holes that are 8 to 10 inches deep. And the city trucks are just up and down there. The one with the trees is up and down there.
Yep.
Everything is up and down Chestnut Street, and my holes is getting deeper and deeper behind my driveway because that's where something was dug up one
Yeah.
time. And I'm tearing up my car.
So that one, something like that actually needs to be cut out completely, have asphalt put in, because it takes so much of this patching material. We actually have to build it back up a little bit and then put asphalt down. Which we've been working with 2 different companies that have been giving us phenomenal rates, a lot cheaper than we were ever getting before, which is good. And they've been doing a great job.
When
When the temperature goes below 45, they can't work anymore.
Right. But what's nice about that patcher, it can go almost to 0 degrees outside.
Okay, that's good then.
they come
We
down.
can get some stuff done.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, so do we have any other questions for Deputy Chief Kern in regards to this
Shut
item?
it
City Clerk, Anita?
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
and Mayor Snyder.
Yes. All right, lead me down the topic.
So we started tearing apart the alleyway by Stopper Plaza.
Oh, God.
This is the void that's underneath the road. But since I had to get it out or pretty south.
What is a tunnel under there or something?
Yeah, it's about a 12 to 18 inch gap between the roadway and the ground.
That's
So where the
awesome.
gangsters came in at?
So
Oh, she didn't say it.
the top part is all smooth, is the bottom of the road.
Yeah, look at that.
Um,
What's the scale? How far away do I see?
So that whole road going from Marketplace, which is the alley that goes behind all the businesses down to East Alley, which is a leisure club, is coming out. We're gonna re-put new curbs in and basically get rid of that. I know that Mickey Whiteman had already planned on making that a green space.
Mm-hmm.
With our limited funds that we have for repaving roads, don't want to stick that into putting new asphalt down there, especially when we're talking about tearing it down.
That's right.
So we're gonna put that, we're gonna put curbs in there, fix the problem, which is going to be, we think, a storm sewer that has collapsed in there. We think, we're still digging through there. As we were digging, water started coming up, when we hit the pipes or got close to the pipe. So we're gonna put that, we took all the stuff out of there, and we're gonna put down grass, and then we're gonna put a sidewalk that goes from one alley to the other, that'll come right up by Leisure Hour Club. We're gonna put a curb in there and get rid of all the curves that are coming through. In doing so, found another problem,
Of course.
unrelated. So one of the guys, actually, Superintendent Meeks was walking back from putting manhole covers back on, and he has a metal rod that's got a lever on it. He's just walking across Stauffer Plaza. As you're just hitting the ground, hitting the cement, and it's dunk, dunk, doom. It's hitting it and it's hollow underneath. And so we started walking around. There are voids all throughout Stauffer Plaza. To where I took the transit out on Friday and we did a thing called shooting grade. So we found out what the level is of the rest of the plaza compared to like the curves around it. This is the fountain that's in there. And those numbers from the edge of the curve line, those are the negative numbers and how far that whole thing is sunk because of the leaking artesian well that was plugged off years and years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Which should never have been plugged off.
Yeah.
The best answer I can get of why it was plugged off is because kids were putting soap in the river, or soap in there, and it would suds out.
Yep.
And go all over the place. So the one thing I've learned from Eagle and from everybody is you never cap an artesian well.
Right.
Because it's gonna find its way out. So if you look right where it says that one, it's got the arrow with the dark color on that, on the brick, that's all water that just leaks down into the ground. So what this means is that that fountain has kind of tilted and sunk like this. And then it's broke the pipe that artesian well comes up through, which has been leaking all over the ground. So we uncapped the artesian well and it works fine. Except for we broke out the concrete today while Concord Excavating was ripping out the drive, broke the concrete out. So that little tiny nub that you see right above where it says 3 3/4 inch, that's no longer there. We broke that out and found hobble job of how the artesian well comes up into the ground. It's just kind of put out into the concrete and everything. So we're going to fix that. The problem we have is we started drilling holes through Stauffer Plaza. And there'd be solid areas and then there'd be areas where this drill bit about that long wouldn't touch dirt underneath. So we don't know how much of Stauffer Plaza is completely compromised. But there are several areas that have holes underneath the concrete. Which could crack and then just fall in. So we're going to start working with taking out the brick around fountain and see how bad it is there. But Stauffer Plaza might end up having a lot of grass rather than cement because cement is $200 a yard right now. And so
The green space might get a little bit bigger. Because grass is cheap, and so is the topsoil. So, we've met several times before we started this project. We met with 4 excavating companies and Mickey on site. And we were all kind of hoping that this could wait till spring. And then the second sinkhole showed up right above the pipe. And so when I called Mickey, he was like, he actually came, he was here and he said, well, this was Friday. He said, guys, make sure you relax, enjoy your weekend because Monday is gonna be a can of worms. You start cracking this thing open. So top of that, the storm sewer pipe that goes right along the back grass area that between the parking lot of the medical center and the alley we're tearing up has a 6-inch artesian well that is flowing like a water main. We actually thought it was a water main break. It flows so hard and so much. We actually joked about making it like a Great Wolf Lodge where it would be that huge barrel that would dump on kids that would not splash pad. It is flowing so much that it's overwhelming the storm sewer system and is pushing, it shoots out into the river about this far out. To the point where we're gonna have to split it to 2 because our storm sewer just can't handle it. So I don't know how much this is gonna cost. We have no clue. All 4 excavating companies said, we cannot give you a bid. Because we have no idea what this is gonna be. All we can pay is time and materials, which is about $2,500, $3,000 a day. For them to be there.
And that's underneath the grass, you said?
That's underneath the grass, the storm sewer and the artesian well, the 6-inch artesian well. Then you have a separate issue of the collapsed manholes and the alleyway that had this huge void underneath. With a storm sewer that's somewhere in there between the brick, that big huge wall and Stauffer Plaza itself, somewhere in there it has collapsed. And it is sucking water because the storm sewer manhole that is in the alley has stagnant water. But you go to the next storm sewer to the south, and there's flowing water coming from the alley. We have no idea from where. And it's flowing so much that we couldn't get a camera through there to find out. Most of the time we shove a camera through there, we could see everything. Oh, it's broke right here. And not this one. So now it's the only way we can do it is just to dig and see what we come up with.
Counselor French?
So I remember a while back where we were looking at projects that the Nicola gift was going to be used for. Wasn't Stauffer Plaza on that list?
This was a different
I can
grant.
tell you. I can tell you.
Okay.
So the DDA board, when somebody told me you had decided to change that, I said, we must have looked at some of the plans. So we had 3 plans on the committee, the DDA board, and we wanted to change that place into a green spot.
Yeah.
And so then as well, now you found that waterfall, maybe you should put that like that, because we wanted to, in that area right there, also do something for the children.
Yes.
So having a play area for the kids as well. And then we wanted to use Stauffer Plaza, instead of it being the way it is now, they wanted to close it in.
Yes.
So you're telling like, whoa. So I'm thinking you're doing I think you're doing some of the groundwork that maybe we'll be able to go back and get that bid, please speak about, but that's
Looking for grants.
so.
This was some grants, yeah. When I talked to Mickey about that same thing.
Yes.
Funding had fallen through
Correct.
last year.
Yes,
They're reapplying for it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of he sent me all the blueprints and everything. So I was like, you know what?
there's 3 of them,
Let's just start with this right now.
and that will help them start from ground.
Yes. The
Ground
only
zero.
issue is there are so many artesian wells in there that whole area is constantly sinking. Because I haven't told you about the other part, it's in the parking lot up above. And I was gonna try to have a cheat kit do it, but I was gonna hook my computer to it. We flew our drone. It does 3D modeling that's in color, and then I can change it and twist it so you can see it. If you go directly behind Mercantile and go right up to the gate that's there before it heads down, there is a catch basin there that has completely sunk all the way down. And the pipe that goes to the south then popped up on the other end, pushing the other one up. You go further down by Erie Street where the old consumer building is. My understanding, that's all contaminated through there, and that whole cement is capping off the contaminated ground.
And that's supposed, And that part, that's right there, doesn't that own, that's consumers,
That's
correct?
consumers.
Okay, so,
Yep.
all right.
As consumers, our stuff runs through it. And then, so we have, there's quite a bit of issues down in that whole area, so. Rieger Park has a lot of good real estate for marketplace that's above the high ground, just saying. We might have to think about that, but. So we kind of have a can of worms. We're hoping that we can just get out of it as cheap as possible. I can't give you an estimate, other than I can just keep you up.
Councilman Prince.
Sounds good.
So we excavated. We're gonna put in pipes to catch the artesian wells.
The pipe's there.
Right, but they're compromised or not big enough or what have you.
Right.
So what's to protect the leisure hour club and that break automotive place from catching water flooding off? the
So
pipe?
it goes currently right through leisure hours.
Backyard.
Property, right through their backyard currently.
Okay.
That's where we've gone back for so much, and we decided today that, look, we need to, this thing is flowing so bad. We need to split it in half, actually. Buy it up by where the old dumpster used to be, that's gone now. And that's where the artesian well is, we're gonna wire it off, go down the one pipe we're fixing, and then continue down the pipe that it's currently on. The one that we're putting it into is 18 inches in diameter, the one that is currently in is 12 inches in diameter. So hopefully that would take care of a lot of that. We're also just, our thing is, we're gonna do it and we're gonna do it right, so we don't have to mess with this again. We're gonna redo the manholes. We're gonna line them just with that, with the, now they're gonna be brand new manholes, they're gonna be up higher, but we're also gonna line them on the inside, so in case the ground around them sinks again. It's the same lining that we put in around Regan Park. Makes it waterproof, and it's 16,000 PSI shell on the inside, so it will hold it there. We just don't know.
Okay.
I think the compromise part, but really not so much getting toward leisure hours, it's back up toward the front, so if we can split it, I don't think we're gonna have an issue in that area.
Okay.
Sorry. So are you going to close that section of the area off completely?
It is right now.
Closed off
Yeah,
now.
it's closed off now. The only thing we talked about doing was the asphalt that goes in front of leisure hours and then goes up a little bit. If you're going out, going north, going towards Cass Street, it's so bad through there that I think what we'll do is when we kind of get all this done, we're putting new curbs in, we might end up taking that out and getting a price of just asphalting that certain area right through there, just for right now, and then plan later on. To do the remaining portion of it.
So do you think all of this work will be done in time for activities next year this time?
Oh, it's gotta be done
No.
now.
So
Yeah.
it's going to
Yeah.
be,
It's-
so it won't interfere with festival and.
Oh, no.
those things.
It's gotta be done before snow
Okay.
flies.
The only thing that'll come in, like, as far as that is, we're actually, if we're gonna have a plaza, then where we're gonna move it to. Because, as you say, the ground, all it took is just a couple little days, and then the ground was caving in.
It seems dangerous, yeah,
So
The farmer's market will be, might have.
right.
the artesian wells, that's just groundwater? Okay,
It's under pressure, and so when it comes out,
gotcha.
The trash, can we tap into it for a water supply?
Right.
that's how the wind rocker and the granary was ran
Right.
on this one well alone.
Yeah.
And then in talking with Carr Brothers, Joe Caldwell was telling me that they hit one that was behind the old hardware store. They were doing that roadway, and it took 2 vac trucks and trash pumps just to try to keep up with the flow that was coming out of that one. It was horrible.
And Jake found pictures of the old river where it used to run through there before they moved it, so that's part of the problem, that's the riverbed.
And they left the bridge there.
Yep.
And just paved over it, and so the bridge was the only thing that was flat in that alley, the rest of the roadway had sunk down drastically. So when, like I said, engineer Mickey walked up there and he stood up there and, oh, yeah, I'll give you a piece of advice, engineer, if the road sinks, you have a problem. You have a problem. It's awesome, so, yeah. So we'll keep you up to date on everything. We'll put some emails out and everything as well. We'll also put it on the department's Facebook page after we let you all know what's going on. But that's where we're at with that.
Be warm the next couple of days.
Yeah. Real quick, the other things that we've done, all the carports have been installed. We're gonna start closing them ourselves. It's a lot cheaper if we do it that way instead of paying that be done when we first bought them. Also the cemetery building, the garage area, we're gonna be ripping about half of that off. Now that we got the new garage up, we'll be taking all the additions on that are falling in. There's a hole in the roof. It's horrible. And so then we're gonna paint that building like a new style paint that's acrylic that seals the cement from the outside. So it'll look really nice. They said the patch will be here. Also, Director Garrett has been talking with the Travel Sports Association about wanting to use Harris Field and some other fields to get them up and running. We said that Harris is pretty much up and running right now. It's for adults and kids. And they're looking to expand, so they're wanting to. That's like, we're still trying to get that going. Today, the concession stands were completely repainted at Harris Field. The guy sprayed them. Today, they did an awesome job. It's with that same acrylic style paint that seals from the outside, just because of the water and everything that comes down. So also our DPW updates are always put on the Facebook page quite a bit. So it's the Albion, Michigan, Albion MI Department of Public Services. So that's where we're at.
We invite you guys to come out, take a look at some of the things that's going on, especially when we talking about the buildings and if not into the cemetery, we take a look. I think that's like one of the proudest moments for us, especially where we've been in the past with some complaints and so some of the renovations that's going on there in the buildings and stuff.
I've never seen, 26 years here, I've never seen a cemetery look this good. They've done a phenomenal job, but and a lot of it is from the new equipment that you all have bought, so.
They have done a fantastic.
And the rotary guys.
Yes. Any questions for
No.
Deputy Chief Kern? Thank you for the update. You're giving me. Do I have a motion to approve the engagement letter with Barnes and Thornburg?
So move.
Support.
City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Reed.
Reed.
Yes. Jackson.
Yes.
Waller.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve of the first reading of ordinance 2024-09 for the fire prevention and protection?
So moved.
Support? Can I hear this?
Yeah. So I had mentioned that this was going to be coming to council. The chief and I have been working on various code enforcement things through the city, and we realized that the ordinance still referenced the National Fire Prevention Code, which hasn't been used for this by the city for as long as I can remember, and I don't know how long, how far back the chief can remember. What is used is the International Fire Code, which is put out by the International Code Council, the same company that produces the property maintenance code and the other codes. So what this does is it adopts the International Fire Code by reference. It puts in the references where appropriate to City of Albion, Albion Department of Public Safety, and this code is updated every 3 years, just like the property maintenance code that council just adopted. So this just once again gets the city updated to where it needs to be and has the proper code referenced in the ordinances. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Attorney Hartson? City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Jackson.
Yes.
Waller.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Branch.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve the amended Maple Grove purchase agreement?
So moved.
Support. City Clerk Domingo?
Councilmember Waller.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Branch.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Reed.
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. Future agenda items. Are there any items that council would like to see? Councilman French?
I'm just wondering at what point during the next half an hour, we're going to talk about setting our special session.
Well, I think we were gonna send out a doodle poll. I would say let's avoid weekends,
Please.
so we can send out a doodle poll about an evening coming up. Once we hear back from Attorney Harkness.
Anything about second shifters?
So
Yes, ma'am.
What was your-
What time do you normally?
I work 2 to 10.
2 to 10.
What was you gonna say?
Oh, I have a different item. That doesn't have to do with this.
Fine.
It seemed like a morning would be good. Come in here for an hour. and be-
How does a Friday look?
Early.
Like you.
I'll have to leave a meeting at like 1.
Okay, so we'll send out a doodle
Okay.
poll.
Okay.
Maybe we do like early morning, 7:30 a.m. type of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Andy, that will address your,
Yeah, I mean, I can do early morning, but I have to be on the road by 8:30, 9 o'clock. So.
yeah,
So that early morning is
so hopefully it's
totally different.
yeah.
Okay.
Any
7
other
o'clock?
items?
I can make it work.
Oh, 7 o'clock. in the morning.
Attorney Hartness?
I'll have an update for council regarding the fire damaged properties and other decrepit properties that we've been taking enforcement action against.
Mayor Pro Tem Jackson?
Yes, I would like to have Granger on the next agenda item. I'd like to know when their contract is up, or we're supposed to do the renewal.
We did a 10-year contract with them when Darwin was here.
That, okay, so
Yeah.
we need
So we're
to
probably 2030.
20, okay, so we need to
Yeah.
look at it. I mean, just look at what they put in there, because residents are asking me about the new payment.
They switched to a monthly payment. It didn't change the cost. It's just
Yeah.
you're billed
monthly
monthly
payment.
instead of
Yeah.
quarterly now.
Okay. All
Which
right.
most people I think prefer actually because
Yeah.
it's easier
Yes, I'm
to
down.
budget. Right, yeah.
Okay.
Some of the elderly and sport precinct, they like it.
They like
Right.
it,
Because
okay,
it's much easier to budget for than it
Okay.
is trying to remember 3 months.
because mine hasn't changed that, so I was like, what you talking about? Okay.
Any other future, yeah, Councilwoman Lola?
Oh, thank you so much. Berrien Street, no parking signs. Just a discussion.
Are there missing signs?
No, we just can't see you.
Oh,
He said it faded.
Katie?
I just wanted to like, just to fill you in on it. I had a person request that we take down the no parking signs, but for me, and I don't know whose decision it is, I like to have some input from all of you. We do have an autistic, child on our street. This person is requesting that they have parking on both sides, but my concern is if the child runs out in the street.
Yeah, that's even worse.
Well, and the other concern about parking on both sides is whether I can get a fire truck between them. So that's usually the width issue of which side it's on. As far as which side it goes on, I mean, we could switch it sides if that was in preference to the community.
You don't need to put it on the agenda, we just have a discussion.
Oh, we have to put it on the agenda because we'd have to approve it as a, what do you call that? Yeah, it's called that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'd have to approve it, but yeah.
Any other agenda items?
Next.
Traffic.
Lately, there has been a lot of speeding cars. One came down Superior Street today, came around off Austin onto the Superior and was just flying. And I was trying to get out and I tell you, it was really something. And same with Eden Street. A car passed me going up Eden Street. And it was going so fast, I couldn't even see if it had one or two doors or anybody in it. It just zoomed just like that. And right now, that's happening in all cities. Jackson was the same way and everywhere, so.
So is there an agenda item that you
Tell
want?
people not to slide so fast.
There has been an uptick in the number of cars pulled over and ticketed as my traffic officer who was on nights is now on day shift and enjoys stopping cars. So hopefully we'll see a little more of that happen.
Any other agenda items?
That's the public announcement.
Yeah.
Speed signs is that.
Public comments. If there's anybody in the gallery that would like to stand and address council, you may do so at this time. no movement, city manager report.
I don't know if this was brought to the council's attention, but the planning commission in September approved a special use permit for a Circle K gas station that'll be going in where the old Ponderosa is. So it'll be nice to see some development going on up there in that area. So
What is it?
a Circle K gas
K.
station.
Never heard of that.
Circle K
Yeah.
gas station.
Another gas station.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure we need another gas station, but maybe it'll help improve some of the ones that are there and.
Price gonna be lower?
No.
It's 305 and
Yeah.
Not anymore.
39 here. I just went there today.
It's down
Anything
again.
else on the city
Yeah.
manager report?
Since I've announced my resignation, I've met with my staff and spoke and talked over with Deputy Chief Kern. We were both in an agreement on this and I've decided to appoint Lieutenant Phipps as the interim Chief of Public Safety once I leave. So Lieutenant Phipps is from Albion. He grew up here, went to school here, so I think he'd be a great choice for the next Chief of Public Safety, but in the meantime, he'll serve as interim chief. It's kind of cool when I get to pick my own person to take over for me when I leave, but I think Lieutenant Phipps is a great choice, so.
All the kids love us.
Well, we are happy that you have accepted taking on the responsibilities as the interim. We appreciate you doing that for our department. I know we'll be in good hands.
And what is that?
He's still deputy chief and it'll be nice having Jason here still in that role to assist him in learning the new role. And I won't be far away either, so.
Why did I say that?
Because he enjoys doing the other role as deputy director.
I love doing public safety and I love working with Elmer and with public.
And he loved.
I do.
Oh,
Yeah. And so if I take that shot.
You can't do it.
Yeah. But right now I can bounce between both worlds and it's working really, really well. It is,
You're finding all the problems though.
right.
I know I'm sorry.
And costing a lot of money.
You approved Albion.
That's why we worked on public safety because he was costing us a lot of money.
So the question is, who's gonna become the firefighter extraordinaire?
Yeah. Well, we still have Bill Timmons who's in charge of the fire side, so.
All right,
But I think from all of us that.
We are the-
Was myself, Timmons and Lieutenant Wygant are gonna help, but it's not like we're just gonna leave, kind of run it as a team like we.
Good luck.
Definitely not on an island. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I think
Can we stop Chief Kip as a volunteer firefighter?
We've talked about that maybe, but.
A reserve.
We'll see how.
We'll be on our reserve.
We'll see how bad I want to continue doing this once I'm not doing it anymore. So,
Yeah,
There's nothing like the agenda.
just keep your ear.
yeah.
Yep, all right.
Well, congratulations.
I, once again, council, mayor, you guys, it's been really, really good. Like our whole department, was it's a police department, everybody working together. We got, has the school spending. It's going in the right direction, so thank you all because we couldn't do it without you. So, thank you.
I'm glad you guys got some good synergy going. It shows. All right, council member comments. This past Saturday, NAACP had their annual banquet. It was lovely. It was a phenomenal event. The food was amazing. Speakers were good. The award recipients were well deserving. One thing that I want to make comment on, because we will not meet again before Election Day, that the NAACP is hosting an event, is it this Saturday?
This Saturday.
This Saturday to educate anybody that has questions on the ballot. They are gonna have sample ballots available. They're gonna have information on all of the categories, regardless if it's a candidate, regardless if it's a millage. They will help explain what's on the ballot to anybody who goes at the Charles Snyder Community Room.
Yes.
I believe it's Saturday from
5 to 7.
5 to 7. Thank you.
I would like to say thank you for attendance. Of course, Ms. Reed was called out by the state president. She who remembers her very well. And so, who usually doesn't come, but she was there this time. And I think everybody was pleased with the way it went. I mean, it's always a little longer, but I mean, it's once a year. It's once a year celebration, and it was very well done.
Also, we have, hold on. We also have Sweets on Superior this Sunday. Yep. 1 to 3, I believe it is, downtown. So make sure that you kind of push that out for the families to know that that is a fun, safe event for the kids to get dressed up, get treats. But then there's also other events going on and around town. So a lot of safe ways for kids to do the trick or treating. And then Halloween night. Trick or treating's from what time to what time?
6 to 8.
6 to 8 on Thursday night.
The college has something before that, right?
Trunk or treat or something.
Yep.
Councilwoman Lawley?
Thank you so much. We put in, a section of a sidewalk on Fitch Street. But we left the concrete. This Mr. Steve, he is on a walker and is asking me to help him get that concrete on Fitch. I sent you an email. Have I sent him? I'll send you one with the house number, because I don't know the number. Thank you so much.
Mayor Pro Tem Jackson.
Yes, so also there's another event tomorrow. I'm tired of renting. This is tomorrow between 5:30 and 7:30. Free dinner at 5:30. Program starts at 6 o'clock. This is at the Albion Housing Commission, Charles Snyder Building, 1300 Cooper Street. And you do need to, RSVP is required. And that is www.bcaar.com. And there's a phone number as well, which is 269-962-5193. So this would be great because they're having a program. It's a free workshop. So that individuals that are tired of renting can learn how to own their own home. Yeah.
Battle Creek Realtors.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Any other member comments? Well, get out and vote, folks, push that, encourage people not to be, lackadaisical and just sit on their couch. Make sure you're encouraging everybody to get out and vote. That's the only way you see change.
Don't come to council.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned, 8:58 PM. Excuse me.